This is Sparta!
I know I'm a dork, guys. Alright, today, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys a death battle. So, I hope you guys are excited for this. I've been hyping it up all week with all these extra videos, and I know that some of them have been very somber or negative, and I just want to thank all of you who watched those videos and either gave me some words of encouragement, or ranted with me. Laura, that's you. You know who you are. You know what? I just want to say thank you to those of you who, are still there for me, even when I'm not making content that's my normal stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into this death battle by introducing our first combatant will be Guts the Black Swordsman versus Kratos from God of War. We'll be excluding God of War 4 because this Kratos is a little bit different from the current Kratos of the previous God of War series. So, just so you guys know, we're excluding 4 because it doesn't really matter. We wanted Kratos at his best, so this gives him all of his arsenal, basically, of weaponry. So, without further ado, let's begin. We're going to be doing things a little bit different, starting off with talking about what these guys have in common. And the first thing that these two guys have in common is they are powerhouse warriors that are used to fighting things that are largely more powerful than they are. So that is the really cool niche little trick that both Guts and Kratos have in common. Now, what else do they have in common? For our combatants also have both been trained from a young age. Both of them are around 6 feet tall and somewhere between 200 to 300 pounds. Both of them were military leaders. Guts being the leader, one of the leaders of the Raiders of the Hawk, or I believe the commander was his technical role, but he was a leader nonetheless. And I believe both, if I recall correctly, Kratos was also the leader of his own Spartan army. So, both of these guys have led men into war and battle. Another one is they both have slaughtered entire armies of the supernatural, demons, the undead, etc. And both have defeated gods or godlike beings. So these two guys are perfect for a combat with each other. Alright, first things we're going to go into is key information about Guts. So his weapons are his prosthetic arm, which contains a rapid-fire crossbow and a small hidden cannon inside. He also has mini bombs, a belt of throwing knives, and of course, the Dragon Slayer's sword, which is 7 foot tall and weighs about around 400 pounds. This sword is literally ridiculous. This is probably one of the reasons why Guts is able to kill so many creatures that are so much larger and more powerful than he is, because he is so strong that he technically, with one arm, wields this ridiculously sized sword. This sword has been bathed in so much demonic blood that it now can not only hurt physical beings, it can also hurt supernatural creatures on the spiritual or soul level, so to speak. In other words, he could kill a ghost with this thing, or if he stabs you to death with it, well, he's probably killing your soul too. We also have the very powerful Berserker armor. This enhances his speed and strength and durability by numbing his pain receptors. So basically, when the Berserker armor is in use, Guts feels zero pain. Doesn't matter if you punch him, kick him, nothing. And if you break his bones in any shape, form, or fashion, the Berserker armor will stab him with a bunch of needles, put the bones back in place so he can continue the fight. Another thing you should know about Guts is he single-handedly wields this sword. Technically, you have to remember, the prosthetic arm helps. It is magnetized to help him wield that sword, but realistically, his right arm does all the work. So his right arm is wielding this stupidly heavy and long sword that in the real world no one would be able to lift it, and if we did, we'd fall right the fuck over. Also, on top of that, he has to be moving at superhuman speeds to even do half of the movements he does with this sword. Alright, next thing is we're going to go straight into Kratos. This guy is equally as ridiculous as Guts. His weapons include the Blades of Exile, Blade of Olympus, Bow of Apollo, Claw of Hades, Boots of Hermes, Golden Fleece, which is basically a glorified shield, the Nemean Cestus, which is basically a powerhouse gauntlet, and the Wings of Icarus. Also, something you should know is each of these weapons is also enchanted to a point. For example, the Claws of Hades can rip a soul from the body. The Nemean Cestus can cause like a shockwave. His Blades of Exile also extrude flames. The Bow of Apollo doesn't seem to need actual arrows as it fires some type of energy type arrow. And the Boots of Hermes also they give Kratos temporary superhuman speeds. And then, of course, there's the Sword of Olympus, which has been used to kill multiple gods and also can house the power of a god inside of it. Other abilities including for Kratos is he's actually superhumanly strong and fast without necessarily being enhanced into demigod status. When he seems like he's just a dude, because basically, if you want to know the true story of Kratos, he is the story of a man who became a god. So, ultimately, what we're dealing with is a demigod level character, at least for this point in time of the story. Now, his superhuman strength is ridiculous. At one point in the game, he literally topples an entire stone temple. Just lifts it right up and tosses it, which, that is nuts. And his willpower is pretty tough too, as he was able to resist the Claws of Hades when they were attempting to rip his soul out. So, go him. Also, he has the ability to fight opponents who are not only bigger, stronger than himself, but Kratos has also fought opponents who are faster than him. As we saw, Hermes was very in the game. Hermes is ridiculously fast, but I would say that he, Kratos is also smart enough to know that Hermes is not a warrior, which I think also played a role in his victory over Hermes. Now, next one. We're gonna be determining the winner. Hope you guys are ready. Drum roll, please. And the winner is... Alright. So, well, actually, these are the results. The 4 categories are strength, speed, durability, and willpower. As far as strength goes, clearly Kratos is way stronger than Guts. This puts him at a category 4. In case you guys don't know, this puts Kratos probably somewhere in the ballpark strength level of like Luke Cage or, like Wonder Woman, or any other kind of demigod level hero. And then, of course, if you put him at a 3, you're just above superhuman in probably lifting in the tons department, but I'm basing that off of the speed stat for Guts, basically because the guy can move at speeds that are like supersonic. He's battled opponents that are way faster than what Kratos has fought. Kratos has fought guys like Hermes, and Guts has fought demons who can move much faster than Hermes. As far as durability goes, they're about the same. Kratos, especially when he has his godlike power, he can take punches and kicks and damages from other gods. And thanks to the armor, I would argue to say that the Berserker armor can literally hold Guts together, regardless of how much Kratos pummels him. The armor will hold him together. Now, whether Guts would survive this battle in the long run, that's a whole nother statement, but we're talking about who's just going to live longer after this fight. And of course, this is probably the deciding factor, is willpower. Who has more? And the answer is Guts. Why? Who cut off their own limb? to fight, to keep fighting more demons. Guts has put himself in so many dangerous situations that, you know, and to much avail, he has what is kind of described as the demon's or the devil's luck. Basically, Guts has the ability to just survive things he shouldn't be able to survive. In other words, his willpower and his durability are basically is what makes this guy a powerhouse, and his speed is beyond the levels of anything Kratos has ever fought. So, the winner is... And here's another... And basically, before we get into announcing the winner officially, give me a second, guys. I am trying to do this my own way. A few other reasons why I'm going to be pointing out why Guts wins is because, one, he can swing that ridiculously sized sword at opponents who already have supersonic level speeds, like Zod, Nosferatu Zod. He's also been able to fight beings who exhibit powers very similar to what the deities that Kratos has fought. So, for example, the leader of the Baki Raka or whatever, what are they called? I can't remember the name of that particular army right now, but the point is their deity, or their, not their deity, their apostle, so to speak, that was their king, basically had a form that was an astral form that shot out lightning and things, so Guts has been able to take lightning bolts and keep fighting. Granted, he didn't beat this guy alone, but he still was able to do it. And Guts has also fought opponents who can fly at supersonic speeds, so the wings of Icarus don't exactly give Kratos an upper hand. And then, of course, both of these guys have killed a technical sea god. And basically, Guts has used a tactic that Kratos has used to kill Titans, by basically being eaten. So, Guts is clearly not afraid to go inside. Also, on the inside of this, I would argue that Guts had a hell of a lot more to deal with when he got eaten by this sea god than I would argue that Kratos did when he kills Kronos. Another thing that I would like to point out is he has defeated members of the God Hand, which basically, I think her name is Slain or Sane, or however you say her name. Basically, she is the God. Basically, she is one of the God Hand, and her whole shtick is that she is that she is basically, the thing is, like, one of her things was she was able to pull the intestines of a dead supernatural creature to create a physical form, which Guts defeated with that, but he did not kill her. So the thing about it is, but he has defeated her, and in theory, he probably will defeat the God Hand, which they already exhibit powers very similar to the gods in God of War. And Guts also has the hidden arm cannon, which has taken down creatures that are far bigger than him, which I would argue to say that if Kratos can get stabbed with a sword and die, I imagine this cannon would be something that Kratos is just not expecting, so he does have a surprise factor about him. Another thing that I would add to the reason why Guts would win is because Nosferatu Zod also exhibits abilities that I would argue are comparable to Kratos. And if he can beat his Nosferatu Zod, I would argue that he could also beat Kratos. So, in short, guys, the winner is Guts. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know this was very different. Probably the winner was not who you expected, but if you agree with me, great, let me know in the comments below. And if you disagree with me, let me know also in the comments below why you disagree with me. I'm curious. And if you guys want to help me out by any chance, you know, make sure you tweet on this video at Chad James of Screw Attack and see if maybe he agrees with me. Anyway, if you guys want to do that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more future death battles and crazy, wonky, geeky videos. And I will see you guys hopefully next week. I'm out, guys.